What's going on, everybody? Today we kind of want to take you on a journey behind the scenes of a recent tour we did as an independent jazz fusion band. It's been an incredible ride, from creating music memes online to performing live in front of sold-out crowds. And seriously, we couldn't have done this without you guys. Like, literally, we couldn't have done this at all without you guys watching.
Can we just say what's up to the YouTube video?
But we learned a lot from this first tour, and I thought it would be cool to sit down and talk with you all, as an internet musician myself, what we learned from this experience. From stress to having no sleep, to driving 14 hours at a time, to venues not paying us on time. Here are some things I didn't really expect as an internet musician making my transition into the real world of playing music, live music. And I thought it would be cool to get Gregg Bissonette's perspective on this. So we met up with him in LA at our LA show, and we had a whole conversation.
Oh, Mother Lucia.
Gregg is about 30 years older than me, so his come up was a little different. So I can't wait for you guys to hear his perspective on his come up versus the internet musician's come up. But first, a message from our sponsor, Mingus. Now, we all have that one friend who's just a little way too close to his dog. That friend is me. Real jazz fans will already know that Mingus is named after the jazz bassist Charles Mingus. So you put Charles Mingus and my dog Mingus together, and what you'll get is my boy playing the bass. Yes, I put my dog on a t-shirt. I've talked a little bit about this idea on my Discord server, and you guys seem to really like it. So I figured, why not? And I'm also trying to revamp my whole merch selection altogether. So, you know, I handpicked this material. It's not like the cheap, thin stuff. I mean, this stuff is heavy, but most importantly, the guns are hugging the sleeves. We also have them in black. I'm shipping these out myself because I'll be home for the next few months, and touring is very expensive. So if you would consider supporting your boy, head over to groovelogic.club. You don't have to, though. Don't worry, you don't have to do it. All right, moving on with the video. Now, as you hear my perspective on coming up as a musician in this internet age, I gotta set a disclaimer here, guys. I've always been the anti-YouTube guy. For a decade before I even started this channel, my little brother Nathan was always on my ass. He's like, Zach, you gotta get on that YouTube grind, man. I'm like, nah, man, I ain't about to be no YouTuber drummer, bro. I wanna play real drums. He's like, come on, man, just upload one video. You know, I was playing these $50 bar gigs. I was playing in front of crowds of 2, including my parents. Yeah, I'm gonna be real, I wasn't making any money, you know, but I was still doing it because I loved it. But love doesn't pay the bills unless you film yourself making love. Well, never mind. And then all of a sudden the gigs went away because, you know, the thing I can't say on YouTube, or you know, they'll come kill me. And I finally made a YouTube channel, and I cultivated a goal in my mind. I said, you know, if I can get, you know, maybe 5,000 subscribers, if I'm lucky, 10,000 subscribers, maybe. If I could achieve that, then maybe I could get more people other than my mother and my father to start coming to my shows. And as the channel grew, so did things like endorsements, brand deals, sponsorships, but I still wanted to play shows. And luckily, because of quite literally you guys, we were able to do that. Thank you. I love you. You know, hang on, I'm about to, wait. Now, I thought it was so interesting hearing Gregg's perspective on this, because Gregg came up in a time before the internet was even a thing. Check this out.
I'm here with Saxologic.
And your Aunt Gregg.
My Aunt Gregg. Nah, my big bro, Gregg.
Yo.
Gregg Bissonette, man, a legend. You contacted me to get hooked up with Dixon drums, right? The best.
Can we say hooked up, though?
Hooked up. Hooked up with Dixon.
You hooked up with Dixon drums.
I'm signed with Dixon
Signed.
drums.
You got together with.
Oh, we got together.
You didn't hook up.
Well, yeah, we didn't hook up.
Did you really hook up? It's pretty hot.
Oh my God. I assume when you were my age, how brands reached out to you was completely different.
Yeah.
You had to play out a lot.
Yeah.
Play at shows. I imagine it was way harder, because nowadays these big companies, they're looking at kids on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
With Maynard Ferguson, I was 22, and because I was playing with a worldwide jazz trumpet player, big band leader, all of a sudden I got a phone call from Maynard and he was at a party drinking lots of champagne with Armand Zildjian, Mr. Zildjian. And Maynard said, Gregg, can't wait to meet you next week. Welcome to the band. Every drummer that's been on my band immediately gets a Zildjian cymbal endorsement. He actually called me on his landline. That's what Drake used to sing. Anyway, so he gives me the landline, and it's Armand Zildjian, man. I'm going, Mr. Zildjian. He goes, no, Armand. He goes, welcome to the band. You are now a Zildjian endorsee because you're playing with Maynard. Wow. And I was like, man. He goes, when you come by Boston next week, come out to Norwell and pick up your pies. And then I called Vic Firth, and you could call him and he'd pick up, hello, Vic Firth Stick Company, Vic Firth speaking.
Yeah.
Vic, hi, I'm Gregg, and I'm in Maynard Ferguson's band, and I'd love to play, I love your sticks, but I'd love to endorse them. And he goes, consider it done, Maynard's great. And the same thing for Remo drum heads, and the same thing for DW pedals. Nowadays, people see you on social media, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or whatever it is, and all of a sudden they go, wow, look at the views, look at the subscribers. But there was none of that.
So from that clip, back in Gregg's days, we can only assume that something like getting endorsed is a combination of raw talent and, honestly, word of mouth. Versus how me and Nathan are trying to come up in this internet age, getting endorsed is a combination of, obviously raw talent as well, but sick lighting. But what if there's kind of an in-between? What if you're like me and my little brother, and we want to play really unpopular, obscure music like jazz fusion? We've been able to find our niche audience of powerhouse jazz fusion music lovers. And if it wasn't for the internet, these new fans of our music probably would have never heard of us. Also, because of the internet, I've been pretty blessed to be offered some pretty big tours and really high-paying gigs. But, after looking at scheduling and doing the math on the pay and everything, kind of wanted to just focus on my niche audience of jazz fusion music lovers and work on everything yes stuff. And if I'm being completely honest, yeah, we don't make a lot of money as a jazz fusion band, especially not right now. We're barely a year old. But the music is so much fun to play, and we love that shit. So yeah, maybe I'm a dumbass for turning down big tours and high-paying gigs, but I'm a happy dumbass because I get to play music with my best friends in the world, music we wrote in our college dorm rooms. But I say all this because we wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for you guys on the internet, seriously. But check out Gregg's take on this kind of stuff. I thought it was really cool to hear him talk about this.
So you went from playing jazz, stuff like that, to wanting to play in a rock band. Was this because of a financial thing, or was it because you thought rock was more fun to play?
Well, I can't say it wasn't financial because, we were traveling around on Maynard Ferguson's bus, and it was a blast. But we were making $250 a week, and we were doubling up on hotels.
Yeah.
And then David Lee Roth was like, ka-ching, it was a lot of money, and we're flying everywhere. So I can't say it wasn't fun to make more money. But the main reason wasn't because of the money. It was because I grew up, and I said, well, I love playing jazz gigs, but then I want to go out and play like the SoFi Arena with a rock band. But I did it because I love the music. I love the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix. I love the rock, as much as I love jazz.
Yeah. Now let's talk about reach and getting your music and your content out there, whatever it may be. I think we can all agree that it is infinitely easier to get your music or your content out there with the power of social media. Let's say you wrote a love song in your bedroom and you want the whole world to hear it. What you gotta do now? Well, you gotta go find a studio, you gotta hire a bass player, a drummer, maybe keys or guitar, pay them a fee, record at that studio, then pay that studio a fee. Get the music mixed, pay the mixing guy's fee. Get it mastered, pay the mastering fee. Artwork, manufacturing, distribution, promotion, now you're broke. But nope, not with social media. Just turn on your camera, maybe get like a decent $100 microphone and be like, I hope you like my chops. Now I thought Gregg's take on this was really interesting.
And MTV, that was our social media, it was MTV.
Wow.
I remember when MTV first came out and they told all the bands, hey man, you gotta give us a video, a music video. It could be like a scripted thing where you're acting or you're all at the beach, or live where you're playing, but we're not gonna pay you for it. Just make it. And at the time it was like $100,000 to $200,000 to really make make a video. There were no iPhones. There was no, ways to edit on your phone or on a computer. There were no computers. So we would spend like $200,000 and Warner Brothers would match it, and we'd have like a $500,000 video. We'd give it to MTV, and their whole slogan back in the day, in like 82, 83, 84, it's cable. Cable was a new thing. Cable TV. So we're going to have this music video channel. The only way for your album to really do well is if you have a video to go with it. Then people will go to Tower Records and buy your LP, buy your cassette, buy your CD. But we're not going to have commercials. Well, a couple of years later, MTV's all commercials.
Yeah.
So they're making bank on commercials, and the bands get no royalties on those songs that are played on MTV. Zero royalties. Close your eyes for a second. What do you see? Nothing. They get nothing. Zero. Same with VH1, all that stuff. No royalties. That's just wrong. But that was our social media.
When you told me you and your guys had to put in $200K for a music video and Warner Brothers would match it, I was like, dude, imagine us trying to put up $200K for a video. We'd be fine.
Well, now you can do it on your iPhone, man.
Yeah.
But, and you can edit yourself and stuff.
Last but not least, let's talk about networking. Guys, for our first and second album, we were able to have Israel Strom record keyboards from his home in Canada. Like literally in his room. And how did we do that? Well, it wasn't mingling with badass musicians and industry titans, maybe in a private party in some LA mansion or something. It wasn't meeting at a jam session in a big city like New York City, London, Nashville. You know what it was? I found him sending memes in my Discord server. And then I just sent him a DM. And that's all it took to find a musician of his god-tier caliber. I mean, you still have to pay him, don't get it twisted. But Gregg's experience was a little different. Check this out.
Now you, with the crazy amount of people you've played with, how would you explain to me or one of us how to network?
Okay, well, I can only tell you how I did it.
Yeah.
And it's different now because you can network with social media. You can tell somebody on Instagram, hey, check out my YouTube of Everything Yes playing at the Peppermint Club, and people will go to YouTube and watch it. But you didn't have internet, you didn't have computers, you sure didn't have an iPhone. So when I moved out here, my band director in college, he gave me, first of all, my parents said, okay, so what kind of degree are you gonna get at North Texas State, which is now University of North Texas, Snarky Puppy and all that. And I said, well, I'm gonna get a performance degree. And they both, my dad was a jazz drummer, my mom played jazz vibes in his band. And they said, a performance degree. When you moved to LA, I wanted to play on the Tonight Show. They said, you don't take a degree in and say, here's my degree, I can perform. They said, you're performing all over Detroit.
Yeah.
Why don't you get something you can make money with in case you don't make enough money playing? What degree would that be? Do what the sax player in my wedding band does. What does Mr. Matchalat do? He's a middle school band director, not high school. Because in high school, you got Friday and Saturday night football games. In the summer, you got to go to band camp. He locks his door at 3 on a Friday and doesn't open until 9 on a Monday. He's got the whole summers off, can do Caribbean jazz gigs, all over the place and do whatever he wants. So I got a music education degree, and I came out here with a list of about 100 people from my band director. And I literally started on my landline, because I would call them on my landline, to quote Drake. So that was kind of networking. But then I took a lot of lessons. When you take lessons as a sax player, as a keyboard player, as a bass player, as a drummer, all of a sudden those teachers go, man, Zach's a good drummer. I want to recommend him. So I took a lesson with one of my heroes, David Garibaldi from Tower Power. And we had a 3-hour lesson. And at the end, I'm going, I got to reach for my wallet. What does he charge per hour? Oh, man, I got $3,000 to my name. And that's for rent and food and car insurance and going to these clubs with a 2-drink minimum. And so I'm going, we just took a 3-hour lesson. What's he going to charge me? I said, what do I owe you? And I did the reach for my wallet. And he goes, you're new in town, man. Buy me a pizza sometime.
Wow.
What? And then David Garibaldi, drummer of Tower Power, says, what are you doing? I said, I'm not doing anything. I just moved here. I'm rearranging my sock drawer. I'm rotating the air in my tires.
Yeah.
So he says, hold on, man. You read well and you play different styles. He calls up the leader of a TV show like you know, like Kimmel or Fallon or Saturday Night Live. This was called the Merv Griffin Show. Started in the 60s, went through the 80s, and this is like 82. He calls the leader, the musical director, says, Mort Lindsay. Yeah, David Garibaldi. Hey, David, you're playing on the show Friday. Yeah, but I'm telling you, do you have anybody for Thursday? Because the drummer had died of a heart attack, and they were auditioning like 20 drummers. He goes, no, we haven't booked anybody for Thursday. He goes, I got a great guy right here. He just took a lesson from me. He went to North Texas, and he goes, oh, hold on. Did you play in the top band, the 1 o'clock? Yeah, for 3 years. You played in the 1 o'clock? Okay, what are you doing Thursday at 3? Nothing. Okay, you're gonna be there. So I went and played a show, and the first guest was Mary Wells, one of the singers with the Supremes, Diana Ross and Supreme. So you're reading a show, you get $350, and they hear you play. But that's the kind of guy David Garibaldi was, and I tell him that all the time. That's good networking, because he knew when he moved here, it's tough, you know? It's a big city.
All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I mean, if you want to see the full unedited interview, I'll post it up on the YouTube membership. I just thought it was really cool to hear from Gregg's perspective on being a working musician 40 years ago all the way up until now. Like, guys, could you imagine not having Instagram and missing all those big booty videos, all those amazing musicians that you were just a DM away from a potential collaboration? What? Wow. Yeah, I just thought it was really cool. For those of you that stayed this long in the video, I got a little present for you. You ready?